Recently, a viewer of mine named Kristen sent me this package. Apparently inside is a vintage Chromebook. So I think it's time we open up the box and see whether it survived its long journey all the way from the United States of America. Let's take a look. If you want to send me some old tech, my parcel post address is listed in the description below. It seems like my knife isn't as sharp as it used to be. Either way, it did eventually allow us to pull out the small laptop within, wrapped in a layer of bubble wrap. Oh, it also looks like Kristen sent us a letter. It outlines that there's Linux installed on here, and it even has upgraded RAM and a solid-state drive. According to Kristen, this is one of the very few Chromebooks that's actually upgradable. Originally, these would have come with GalliumOS, which is designed for a series of low-powered, web-orientated laptops. And this particular device retailed for a low $298 Australian back in the beginning of 2013. This particular model is in need of a bit of TLC and has definitely seen quite a bit of use over the last 8 years. It was mentioned that this was coming with a charger, but I'm guessing it was lost in a separate package during transit on its long journey all the way from America. Luckily, I do have a compatible charger that met the voltage requirements, and pretty quickly the Chromebook loaded into a flavor of Linux called GalliumOS. This little device is now rocking 10GB of low-powered DDR3 memory as well as a 128GB SATA solid-state drive. Since it seems to be working, that includes the battery, I think it's time we give it a good clean with a healthy dose of eucalyptus oil. As I always say, be sure to clean up any secondhand electronics you receive, as you don't know how clean the surfaces really are. And to get around the keycaps, I used a toothbrush, which is great for getting into all those hard to reach places. Colgate, please sponsor me. The display was quite dirty, and after the first wipe down, there was clearly some minor damage to the panel that I wasn't going to be able to fix. And now the disassembly can begin. The battery in this device is also easy to remove. Most modern laptops have their battery inside the case, and if you want to access the RAM, hard drive, and Wi-Fi card, all you need to do is remove a single screw. In virtually every new Chromebook, all of these components are soldered directly to the motherboard, making their lifespan far shorter. That already upgraded solid-state drive is held in place by rubber, which would cushion it in the case of a drop. It's actually a pretty good drive that's in here already, so there's no need for me to replace it. And that 10GB of RAM is comprised of the original 2GB module as well as the 8GB stick Kristen put in here. Honestly, 10GB of RAM for a Chromebook is overkill, so I will not be upgrading that any further. Even the Wi-Fi card is easy to access and swap out if it was to fail. If you want to redo the thermal paste, there is a bit more work that needs to be done. There are about 16 screws that hold the top casing on, and we need to remove the motherboard entirely to get access to the heatsink. And with all the many screws that I think need to be taken out, I carefully went along the edge and unclipped the casing. The plastic doesn't seem to be all that strong, and the few drops this machine has already had have broken a few of the clips. All that's holding the keyboard on now is a single ribbon cable. With the frame exposed, it looks like the plastic holding the hinge screw in place had broken free, and during the reassembly I'll try gluing any broken plastic back in place. Removing the board was pretty straightforward, only a single screw and a few connectors attached to the edge, and after some careful maneuvering around the ports on the side, it's finally out. The Celeron 847 CPU in here has a TDP of 17 watts, so it definitely needs a decent cooling solution. Sadly, it isn't socketed, so I won't be upgrading it. But you'd be surprised how capable such a low-end CPU is with the right operating system. And that's why GalliumOS runs so well on low-powered hardware. It's simple, web-based, and pretty limited when it comes to apps you can install. And that's why putting a lightweight Linux distribution on here makes so much sense. You'll get constant updates, access to a huge amount of free applications, and some really good performance. While I've got the system apart, I also dusted it out as there's quite a lot built inside. This is mainly due to a lot of airflow coming in because of the fan, and surprisingly after 8 years of use, there's basically no dust built up inside or on the blades. In a few places, the nuts that hold the case screws in have started to crack and break off. I simply applied some super glue and let them harden. I did the same thing to the screen hinge screw that had snapped off as well. And with some new thermal paste applied, the heatsink can be pressed back on and I can begin the reassembly. I normally don't apply thread locker, but since the plastics within are really weak, I applied a small drop to each screw. This means I don't have to tighten them too far and they won't loosen off by themselves over time. Several plastic clips had broken off on the base. I did manage to glue most of them back on, thankfully. And last of all, where the clips around the screen had snapped off after the laptop had suffered a drop, I applied some small drops of super glue to hold it in place. And here we have the cleaned out old school Chromebook. It does have quite a few scratches and some dings in the plastic, but is definitely really clean once again. So let's try using this compact little 11.6-inch notebook. First of all, I tried joining my Minecraft server, which is now running on version 1.17. Lowering the settings and render distance was necessary to get it even remotely playable, but if you were desperate, you can get by with the around 25 frames per second. SuperTux Kart is always a lot of fun, and it runs buttery smooth with the graphical settings set on low. Simple games like this can run alright using the basic Intel HD graphics in this laptop. Since it's running Linux, there are lots of games on the distribution platform called Steam that'll work on here. It got a score of 45 frames per second in the Counter-Strike Source stress test. Another Steam game that ran was Terraria. Sadly, even though this appears to be a pretty simple game, it does struggle on low-powered devices, including this laptop. If you're into old DOS games, they can be emulated here really easily as well, thanks to the program called DOSBox. Commander Keen is one of the first DOS games I ever played. I'll never forget how much fun I had playing this many years ago. And if you're using this for web browsing and typing up documents, it's pretty decent. Even full HD YouTube playback runs very smoothly. The layout of the keyboard with the gaps in between the keys did take some time to get used to, but this is still a capable little notebook even here in 2021. The old battery still lasted over 3 hours on a single charge, which is great considering the age. Aesthetically, the cheap looking glossy plastic doesn't hold up well to scratches. And honestly, the trackpad is pretty poor, and perhaps it was better when it was new. For a cheap Chromebook from the end of 2012, there's a great selection of ports on both sides. And while it doesn't compare aesthetically or in terms of performance to the 11-inch MacBook Air of the time, it was nearly 4 times cheaper when it first came out. Thank you very much for watching. Honestly, it was really cool seeing one of these old machines again. Chromebooks are still incredibly popular, or the newer ones more specifically, and in a world that's vastly connected using the web browser, you can get by doing practically everything just from a Chromebook. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one.